What's up, my friends? Review of chapter 1515 of Hajime no Ippo, titled Loneliness at the Top. The chapter begins with the tiger throwing a smash towards the champion. The tiger is determined to hunt the champion. The champion aims a perfectly timed right counter towards the tiger's smash. The tiger remembers something. He remembers Wally's fight against Ricardo, when Wally asked Ippo to send him a message. He remembers when Ippo went into the audience and spoke to him. Wally said that the rest now it is up to the tiger. The tiger now understood the meaning of those words. As the punch heads towards the champion, the tiger shouts, "Monkey!" Ricardo's right punch heads towards Sendo. The commentator says it's an upward punch against a downward punch that intersect. Suddenly, everything goes dark. The audience can't believe what they are seeing. An impact echoes in the darkness. Suddenly, the champion remembers his past. He asks his father if he is descending the mountain again. His father says he's climbing, that he is aiming for a different peak now. His father says that now he's managed to enter the W.B.S ranking. Ricardo asks his father what it means to be strong. He says that once he becomes the champion, he might find out and that they will have that view together. Ricardo says, okay. His father tells him to wait for him. We see several scenes of Ricardo waiting for his father, but he doesn't appear and time passes. Then Ricardo descends the mountain. Ricardo begins his climb. He is riding towards the summit. We see several scenes of him climbing until he reaches the top. After reaching the summit, Ricardo thinks that this was the vision his father meant that time. He thinks of his father and says that he succeeded. Ricardo thinks that the journey up there was not so difficult, and once he has reached the summit, he has no feeling of accomplishment. Ricardo says that without any point of reference for comparison, he doesn't even know where he is standing now. He can't see anyone or anything. He's just alone. Ricardo thinks of his father saying what he was looking for up there, and again thinks about what it means to be strong. Suddenly, a hand reaches the summit where Ricardo is. He realizes that something has arrived there. The hand appears, reaching the summit and supporting itself up there. Ricardo looks surprised at it. The scene returns the fight, transitioning to darkness with the audience in shock. Suddenly, what happened is revealed. The champion's on the ground. The first time this has ever happened in history. The referee tells the tiger to go to the neutral corner. The count begins. The champion has indeed fallen. Bill and his assistant are extremely surprised. Hosh and Yanaoka are also surprised. The commentator and Date are quite surprised, while Takamura calmly observes. Ippo and the reporter can't believe what they are seeing, while Miyata remains calmly observing. The audience is in shock. The commentator says this is a historic moment. The arena erupts. The entire battleground is shaking. The commentator declares that the Tiger of Naniwa stole the first takedown from the undisputed champion. Hoshi celebrates and says he knew Sendo would be able to do this. Bill shouts, "Ricardo!" while his assistant can't believe what's happening. Miyata tries to give water to Ippo, who is completely dehydrated and in shock from what happened. The referee continues the count. The commentator wonders about the intensity of the champion's damage. Will he be able to get up? The counter is already at 6. The tiger spins his arm continuously. He is still full of willpower. Will he be able to get up? Or will this be the end? The audience noticed something. The champion managed to get up. The feeling among the audience is that he should have stayed on the ground. The referee asks Ricardo to assume a guard stance, but the champion seems quite confused. The champion realizes he needs to get into his fighting stance. He acknowledges it's his first time on this side. The fight resumes. However, the bell rings. It's the end of the 4th round. The commentator says this fight is developing incredibly well. The crowd believes Sendo can win and that Ricardo got luck. Sendo raises his arm towards the corner. Ricardo thinks that finally he appeared. He looks at Sendo and he goes to the corner, and just above him appears the image of the salmon, with Ricardo standing and the tiger hold on top. Ricardo thinks that finally someone has appeared to break his loneliness. The reporter can't believe what happened. Ippo continues hydrating while Miyata remains calm. The reporter says that the tiger threw a smash and Ricardo met it with a counter, and after that everything got mixed up, and then Ricardo fell. The commentator says that even he is struggling to understand what happened. The commentator will put the replay on the screen during the pause, and then the two guests will give their opinions. Takamura seems to know what happened. The challenger launched a smash. Here, the timing of the champion's count is perfect, and then I think it's no surprise what must have happened for Sendo to have managed to take Ricardo down. There is a high probability he used his anti-Ricardo strategy at the moment of the strike, just like he used it against Takamura and Ippo in sparring. The question now is whether the tiger landed a clean hit and how the champion will behave in the next round after the takedown. And there's also the issue of the tiger had accumulated damage from the strikes suffered by the champion. There is a hidden side to Ricardo that we saw in his fight against Wally that may come to light in the next chapters.